Hi, this is Billie Beene here with another segment of U.S. News, episode 41, July 28, 2023. Some of the things we'll be covering: a new U.S. that includes 23 states with a new capital in San Antonio. Let's get started on that. Get a generator, because there could be some problems with the U.S. power grid. Planet X and ETs, a binary sun, and so on. And peace in August. Some of my sources are God in the Bible, Patriot subscriber, Pastor Paul Begley's recent interview of Mike from Around the World, Prophetic Timeline with Chuck Pierce, Cindy Jacobs, Chris Reed, something from the late prophet Bob Jones, Benjamin Fulford on Beforeitsnews, Clif 107, Hal Turner, Steve Quell's site, Zero Hedge. So, let's get started. Okay, I have some Patriot subscribers commenting on recent videos I put out. This one has to do with the heat. Okay, somewhat weather is hot, and my sons work construction, and this year they are taking more breaks, and they set up tents for their breaks. And here's a hydration suggestion: tea is better than soda, soft drinks, to hydrate you. I have a Patriot subscriber who says, it sounds like you believe in global warming. I do believe the earth is heating up, and the fall of 2020 I had information from God about magma rising inside the earth. Pay attention to the edges of the tectonic plates. We also know we're in the cycle for Planet X, Nibiru, changes in space to also impact the earth to heat it up. What I don't believe in is that the heat we're seeing on the earth is caused by humans. Nothing we do, and we're a small population group for the percentage of the earth. Yeah. Okay, in Arizona, I had a Patriot subscriber who says it's not that hot all over Arizona because one half are mountains and it's cooler there. That's good. I have a Patriot subscriber who's talking about the tunnels that were found from the Vatican and Italy all the way to Jerusalem and Israel filled with gold. Gene Decode brought that information out, that the was the Space Force and the White Hats have obtained all that gold. That will be part of the Nasara Jassara new economic system to remove poverty from everyone on earth. That's true. I have a Patriot subscriber today, July 27, triple digits in Kansas. Stay cool out there. I have a Patriot subscriber who says, we're delighted that ACs are going to be in all the trucks for the UPS drivers. And this Patriot subscriber is from California, and she says, last summer we had a UPS driver pass out from the heat. She didn't hear any medical update on what happened to him, but that for sure happened. Yeah. As a Patriot subscribers commenting on recent videos I put out, it corroborates what 107 has said, especially about Israel and the Cuban Missile Crisis. Yeah. As a Patriot subscriber, I've been listening to these government talk, these disclosures by the so-called U.S. Congress about unknown aerial phenomena. UAP are better known as UFOs. Yeah, they're finally coming out, and it's because they're being forced to. Pretty soon we're going to see them in the skies because our space around the earth is changing. That's true. I have a Patriot subscriber who says, use coconut oil for your feet to help with heat. And it's good to get sunshine, and I don't, I have a trust issue with some sources. Yeah, I'm like that myself when I begin to wake up, and I really wake up in 2020. Oh, when we saw that bioweapon released on all you and I to kill you and I and our children all over the earth. Yeah. Okay, Patriot subscriber who's works for UPS or has family that works for UPS. Yes, we're very happy with the UPS contract. I have a Patriot subscriber who says, a lot of the truthers say they work with the CIA, and she's making a comment about Stephen Bannon, so she's like questioning it. And I've listened to Stephen for years, and I find it is factual. He did work for the CIA. Now, he regularly gets updates from the Pentagon. It's because he still works for the Pentagon doing interpretations of ancient Hebrew text and information they find. Okay, also need to put this out. I have a new address, and also give my site on Rumble. I had a Patriot subscriber who says there's no information, no videos up on your Rumble. Yeah. My new address is P.O. Box 2381, Angleton, Texas 77515. My Rumble is under capital B, and then no space, capital B, EENE. So that's on Rumble. Yeah, I've got all my videos on Rumble are up to date, but that's it. And thanks so much for subscribe, like, and share on YouTube and Rumble. Okay, I have this going on. We'll begin this prophetic timeline, and this is with Chuck Pierce, Cindy Jacobs, Chris Reed, and some information from the late prophet Bob Jones. Okay, so Chris Reed had a dream, and Chuck Pierce had a word from God in 2008, and then we have a prophecy from the late Bob Jones. Okay, so this dream had to do with the U.S., and so Chris says, he saw the man in black, and he's believing this is Johnny Cash with the $50 bill, interpreted to mean the 50 states. And the prophecy from the late Bob Jones is, if the U.S. presses Israel to divide its land for a two-state solution, then God is going to divide the U.S., and that will begin in the New Madrid seismic zone. Here's the U.S., Texas, California. New Madrid is in this area, and I brought up recent videos about that. And we have this, that from Chuck Pierce, we may have a period of martial law to restore the U.S. Constitution. Chris Reed's dream will have a new $1 bill with a picture of George Washington on it. And it will be a renewed nation, a new currency. And we have this from Chuck Pierce. Prepare in October of this year for a change in our government, and it's good to be able to grow your own food. Now, the prophecy, the word from the Lord, Chuck Pierce received in 2008, is that we would have 23 states. Something's going to happen to the states. We would have a new capital located in San Antonio, Texas. So that's going on, and I'll link that prophecy for that show, Prophetic Timeline. So we see God is in charge and he is on the move. Okay, we have this now going on in the U.S., and we have information from Mike from around the world. And this will have to do also with changes in the earth and in our climate. So we have Florida, Texas, California, Canada. Okay, the Gulf of Mexico, which is on fire. Okay, so information from Hal Turner, it came out July 27, talking about the U.S. largest power grid in this area of the U.S. issued a level 1 emergency status, and what that did was to tell all the smaller individual power companies that are connected and operated by this one grid under AI. And AI, that's also why we had the smart meters put in, so that there was a remote control of all electrical grids. Okay, so that happened July 27. And what this did was direct all the individual power companies to produce electricity at their maximum. A level 1 emergency. And now we have this from Zero Hedge. It's good to prep and get generators, and I believe that too. Now you can get large generators for your whole house, but you can buy reasonable small generators. I've seen some for as little as $50 that would operate your maybe refrigerator or your air conditioner. I know a few years ago along the Gulf Coast, we were out without electricity for a couple of weeks. And so my son has a generator now. It's like on a little stand with wheels, and he has it inside his garage, and then he had to have his electrical box modified. And so if the power goes out, he wheels the generator out of the garage to the side of his house and then plugs it up. And I think his also operates on gasoline, but that's for his whole house. But yeah, it sounds as if it would be a good investment to get a generator. Now we have this. So Zero Hedge is saying that the operators for the power grid in the U.S. are recommending also that individuals do buy generators, because the heat wave on Earth is continuing and the ocean temperatures are up. So yeah, that's going on. And this level 1 for PJM in this area is going to continue. It began Thursday. It's going to continue today, Friday, and tomorrow on Saturday. Yeah, heat wave continues. And now we have this. So I've been able to document some anecdotal information, anecdotal information from individuals. So I was listening to a podcast from Clif, and he was mentioning in Washington State on 7/27, and this was early in the morning, about 8 a.m., but all week long, they're having temperatures. It was like 49 degrees Fahrenheit, which would be like 9 degrees Celsius. And this is the kind of weather Clif stated for this area they would expect at the end of September or October. Now, I had a Patriot subscriber Here is Africa. Here's a small island nation, Mauritius. That's actually in the southern hemisphere. And he sent information recently talking about also the change in the weather for them, because they're in the southern hemisphere. The summertime is typically their winter. But he stated just about a week ago, they have temperatures of 77 degrees Fahrenheit or 25 degrees Celsius, when the norm, when I researched it, what would be the norm for that area, and it would be 7 degrees cooler, 70 degrees Fahrenheit or 21 degrees Celsius, or a little cooler. So we see in this area, they're having warmer temperatures when they would normally have colder temperatures. And in this area where the temperatures would normally be warmer, they're having colder temperatures. So we see a change, a dichotomy in different areas and weather, climate change. Yeah, so we do see that. And now I'll put out information coming from Mike from around the world on Pastor Paul Begley's Thursday night program. We believe Mike works for the NSA. Mike's a Christian too. Now Mike put out this new term for me, signal shield. So I looked it up, and what this is like a Faraday cage, and I know many of my subscribers are familiar with that. Like if you have a computer, some electronic, and you had an EMP, which could be natural, and you have an electrical surge. We're familiar with that concept. That would take out your computer. If you have it in something like a Faraday cage, which is usually metal, you have to have your computer unplugged too, then it would be protected from an EMP or a surge. So I am speculating that signal shield means something like a Faraday cage. This is around the earth. Now, Mike has put this out before, that the chemtrails we've been documenting, and certainly Dane Whittington with geoengineering has been documenting for decades, contains metals that are sprayed in the air. Now, Mike from around the world says this began in World War II, because it was known about the binary sun coming in, also Planet X, sometimes called Nibiru, and other changes to the earth that would heat up the earth and cause the oceans to boil, which is what we're seeing now. So, from World War II, the U.S. government and governments around the world have been putting chemtrails, putting metals into the skies to construct something called a signal shield around the earth, like a Faraday cage. Now, Mike says this signal shield is failing. And I know my area of study was life earth science. I know about the electromagnetic shield around the earth that comes naturally from inside the earth, and that's been going down for decades. I also had that information from God in the fall of 2020. Pay attention to the tectonic plate edges, because magma is rising inside the earth. So we have several things going on affecting the earth right now, heating up. So we have temperatures going up, and we have the oceans that are literally beginning to boil. We have that recent information from Hal Turner that off of Florida, the ocean surface temperature was like 101 Fahrenheit. Mike says the highest temperature, all of the oceans around the earth are heating up. Highest temperature is 111 degrees Fahrenheit. So yeah, that's going on. And we have this. So they're also melting the Antarctic and the Arctic. And so when these large pieces of ice are melting, it's going to raise the ocean level around the earth by 8 feet. So Mike says you'll have no earthquake, no tsunami. You'll just wake up with more water, you know, on the shore where you live. So that's going on. And he's saying that, and I believe we're seeing examples of spontaneous combustion all over the earth in different areas. So we have Florida, Texas, we've got the Gulf of Mexico, and we're seeing spontaneous fires here. This is because the magma is rising. The oil and gas pipelines in the Gulf of Mexico have been shut in. But because the magma is rising and we have heat coming in from space affecting the earth, spontaneous fires are taking place. Spontaneous combustion. So we see fires in the Gulf of Mexico. And we saw that recently, that surface temp in Florida for the ocean was 101 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay. And now we have this. So we have we have the Arctic and we have the Antarctic. So North Pole, South Pole. And Mike is saying research that had been going on in these locations by multiple governments, and they were spending $12 to $24 million per year to do the research, like ice cores and other things, have all been shut down, and the people have been evacuated because the sheets are not steady now. We saw this demonstrated in the movie Day After Tomorrow. Exactly what's going on in our weather changes. Day after tomorrow. So that's going on. Now, Mike says also when these ice sheets melt and the oceans increase 8 feet, that's also going to flood. It's going to flood our municipal water systems and our sewage systems. So yeah, that's something else to prepare for. So that's going on. Yep. And now he's talking about there is a plan for the power grid, and this is the way it will work. So the U.S. power grid can operate automatically. It's on AI. That's why the smart meters went in. And now, because of this increased heat from inside the earth and also in space, there's a plan where there will be rolling blackouts. Another reason to get a generator. And in different areas, the electricity can be off 24 to 48 hours. Because if the coils, the transformer gets heated, it takes that long for it to cool down. So this, and he also is bringing this information out that U.S. military bases had to be off-grid and have their own generators by 2021. So that's going on. And now we have this. Yeah. So that's going on. Now we'll switch gears and we'll talk about some uplifting information from Benjamin Fulford. He's a Canadian journalist with 20 years with Forbes, currently lives in Japan, has for decades. What's going on with Ukraine and the U.S. military, NATO. And Benjamin's getting his information from MI6 and other sources. So in August, the peace plan is going to be put together, finalized. It's going to involve NATO. Continuing, here's Ukraine, here's Germany. NATO is going to maintain bases in Germany and maintain 300,000 troops. I submit in Germany because earth changes are coming to the U.S. and other land masses around the earth. So that's going on. I think Mike from Around the World had a new map put out. I think I've put that out in one of my recent videos. But, okay, so NATO is going to maintain their army here. Now, most of Ukraine is Luhansk, Donetsk, Zaporizhzhia, Kherson, is going to Russia. This is Nouveau Russia. It's possible that Poland and Lithuania may get some parts. There may be a tiny part left, Kiev. Yeah, so that's going on. And Russia gets the entire Black Sea. A location at Odessa would become a free trade zone. So that's going on. Yeah. And the peace treaty will be finished and finalized in August. So that's good. That's going on. We look forward to peace and prosperity for all peoples in all nations. And it's good to prep and get a generator for sure. A short prayer. This is based on General Patton's World War II prayer. Father, grant us good weather for battle. Guide us from victory to victory. And we ask, crush, vaporize, and identify our enemies, both domestic and foreign, for the United States and all nations around the earth, whose peoples simply want peace and prosperity. And we thank you, God the Father, God the Son, Jesus, whom many call Yeshua, and God the Holy Spirit. I say to my family and friends, remain steady out there, continue to pray. It's good to remember God is in charge and He is on the move. I love you, and I'll see you soon.